shows his hand. The two-mark show. The sheriff says, get off my land.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the show. Sorry we're running a bit late today, but we had a few technical difficulties. So we're here now to talk about our beloved Tottenham Hotspur. We've got Mark with us tonight, obviously, the sheriff, and we've got the one and only Mr. Box Office in the house. Welcome, Alex. Nice to have you on the show, mate. Pleased to see you. How are you?
I'm good. Like I say, I've been on the beach like some of the Tottenham players. Yeah, I mean, because they've been on the beach for quite a while, haven't they? Well, they turned up against in Europe, but
Hoffenheim.
yeah.
Well, for half an hour they turned up.
Oh yeah, true.
Yeah.
You
know,
I was benching, so I didn't really watch the match. I only watch highlights. Benching meaning going to gym, because that's not gonna. Spurs don't really spoil my what I need to do in reality anyway. But anyway, moving on. But I'm good. Thanks. Yeah, I'm good. I hope everyone's well. And
all good, Alex. All good, mate.
That's great, Alex.
First of all, should we say a big thank you?
Yeah, we will do. Yeah, go on, Mark.
We got to say a big thank you to Ben and Kuva for doing our intro. We appreciate it all. Thank you.
Amazing. Absolutely amazing.
Because between me and Mark, right, we have got zero knowledge of technology, computers, anything like that. So thank you.
Yeah, thanks so much, chaps. We really appreciate it. That's great stuff.
Should we have a look who's in the audience?
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Mr. Graham, 28 points ahead of me now in the predictions league, I believe. I believe I've gained a point back on you at the moment. Big up, homie.
Leo, big up, mate.
Leo.
Yeah, big up, Leo.
Yes. Oh, Eugene. Eugene's in here.
Oh, Eugene. You all right, mate?
Yeah. Andrew Gregory.
Andrew, nice to see you, mate.
Yeah, big up, sir. Big up. Chris Well.
Hi, Chris.
Good evening, gents, and those in attendance in the chat. Yes, good evening. Eugene again. Jess, why? Jesse's here.
Hi, Jess. Nice
Hello,
to see
Jess.
you.
Good evening.
Jess.
Good evening. Thank you.
Keep up the good work on your channel.
Yeah. I do watch it, but I don't ever put comments in.
Yeah. Tom. Yeah. Spurs don't do transfer windows. Love it.
Yeah. No. I'm sorry.
Nice one, Alex. We'll get into it a little bit, mate.
Oh, and Tom 81's here.
Yeah,
Tom's here as well. Sorry, Tom. Didn't see you. And me boys here as well. Yeah,
G Giant.
Big up, G Giant.
Big up.
And Aaron. Oh, your boys here.
Big up, Aaron. Nice to see you, mate.
Big up.
There we go. Happy days. Right, I'll crack on with it. Box office. Just a general thoughts on Thursday. I know you said you didn't watch a lot of it, but just pretty much same old, or where are you with it?
Not really anything's really changed, to be honest with you, Mark. We were expected to win the game because this team wasn't really on form. I've got to say the Maddison goal was very good. Got to give that to him. Very good goal. The way that he taken that goal on very, very well. It was quite early in the match. And from what I saw, it looked like we dominated the game in the first half, but then second half we tailed off because obviously they're absolutely knackered. I mean, some of the stuff I've heard from one journalist in particular, I'm not going to say, he was really overpraising the youngsters and really overpraising Ange for using the youngsters, which for me, I'm sorry, I can't hear that. I can't hear that right now because I'm sorry, he's got lucky with the fact he's everything that's happened right now, and just brought it on himself. I'm sorry, I can't I can't hear this nonsense. And they're doing okay. They're working hard, but you can see that they're going to get tired. They're going to be tired for Leicester City as well. So this is all on Ange, as far as I'm concerned. I think we got through the game, but we were expected to win the game. So I'm not well done for winning and getting through the game. I know the situation's not great, but I know who's to blame for that. Yeah, you can talk about the ownership, but the whole problem, yes. But I just can't feel sorry for. I just can't feel sorry for our team. I just can't. I can't feel sorry for what's going on at the moment. I just think it's just absolutely ridiculous, and the over hyping the youngsters, especially Burval and Archie Gray. I mean, Archie Gray, yeah, I'll give him this. He looks more calmer than bloody Burval. Burval's got a lot to learn. A lot to learn. I'm sorry. The boy's so rash. I'm surprised he hasn't got sent off by now. And then I'm hearing, Bentancur's a saviour. I'm sorry. That guy. I'm not impressed with him whatsoever. I'm sorry. He's been a letdown since he's got only the first 6 months. I'll give him the first 6 months. Sorry. He needs to improve. I mean, I'll have him out all day long. I'm sorry. Ben Davies, I'll give him. He's been good. I'll give him that. I think he's been our best defender this season, by none. I've got to be honest. But that's saying a lot about our squad. I mean, ultimately the midfield's terrible. I don't rate our front line. I don't care what anybody says to me. And that's it really for me. So yeah, and it would have been nice that they grinded out a result against Everton. It'd be nice if they started to grind out a result against Arsenal. You know what I mean? But yeah, that's the long of the short of it. And I think you've got an idea why I've not really streamed for quite a while, because I've been saying this for so long now. So it's getting really boring. You know what I mean? So back to you guys.
Nice one, Alex.
You haven't said it, Alex. No, come on. We know if we've made it, you got to say back to you, Mark. I'm done.
Back to you, Mark. Or both 2 marks. I'm done.
Yeah. There we go.
Sorry,
we've made it.
that.
We've made it, mate.
Yeah.
We've made it.
How are you, Brian? Nice to see you, mate.
You know what? First of all, big up to everyone in the chat. Good evening to you all, or good afternoon if you're on my side of the pond. I have to say, first of all, thank you for sending me the link to come and join you two and inviting me on. And I was just getting ready because I said to the sheriff I'll be on shortly. So I thought, let me just listen to the conversation and see who's on. And then I see my brother. This guy next to me. Oh my God, I got it right. I got it actually pointed the right way first time. And listen, Mr. Box Office, how you haven't added the best smile on YouTube to your repertoire of nicknames is beyond me. Because honestly, whenever you see it, it's just honestly it brings a smile to my face, seeing the smile on his face. But yeah, you know how bad things are when Alex, who tried, even when he's negative, he speaks in a positive, upbeat tone. He's just like, yeah, well, this is there's just and it's not because of Alex. It's just everyone is fed up. Everyone is fed up with where we are, how we act, what we're doing, where we're going, and it's going to continue, unfortunately. What is there to say? But it is a pleasure to be in the company of you three gentlemen. I keep saying I need to go see Mark play a tune on that piano because it looks like a wonderful piano. But he hasn't been able to get up and prove it to me that he can play it yet. But listen, if we don't come together and have some fun and chat amongst ourselves, then we'll all go crazy. So it is a joy to come and be able to spend the afternoon because Ilana's gone out on a girls' afternoon. So I was like, what am I going to do with myself? And then you two came calling, so thank you.
Brian, you know you're more than welcome as Box Office
anytime, mate. What's the weather report from Toronto? Minus 20?
Right now, let me just do it. Let me give you an update now. This is what we've become. Let's do weather reports in Toronto.
Yeah, just more interested in the football.
It is currently, as we speak, that's not too bad. It's -3, feeling by like -8. But
That's summer.
that mate, this is t-shirt weather. This is actual
Yeah.
t-shirt weather at the moment. But yeah, the winter, last winter and this winter, so far have actually been very mild compared to what
Wow.
we're used to. So I'm quite happy about it. But the sooner winter comes, the sooner winter pisses off, and then from about April to late October, the weather is always good here.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. Well, I've had contact with you. Obviously, you know I am heading to Toronto.
I'll check with Alana tonight. But the good thing is as well, I booked my tickets to come home to England in April. They're booked, they're signed, they're sealed, delivered. I'm back on the 12th. I'm there to the 28th. I didn't get to see Mr. Box Office last time, or either of you two, but I'll definitely see Alex, because obviously London, I'll definitely see Alex multiple times. We got a lot of catching up to do, Alex. Didn't see you last couple of trips.
Yeah.
But hopefully we'll see the two marks as well, and as many people. I'm not in so much of a rush this time.
I'm sure I can get to the coffee company. I'm sure I can get there.
Same, mate. Same.
And the weather will be better. The weather will be
Yeah.
better in April, so it makes things a lot
Hopefully.
better, doesn't it?
Hopefully.
Isn't it good when talking about the weather is more entertaining and more enjoyable than Spurs?
No.
It's
That
not
should-
hard. It's not hard for any
No.
conversation to be better than Spurs at the moment, Bri, is it?
No.
True.
Eh?
True.
Eh?
True.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Brian, just to come on to, just a quick, I know you've probably done this 10 times since Thursday, but just give us your assessment of Thursday night. Alex has given us his, if you could give us yours.
I don't think I can say much more than Alex. Listen, it was a very injury. I mean, again, it was another team where they created so many chances. If they had had a natural finisher, we could have been in a lot more trouble.
Yeah.
We got the 2 goals early. Ben Davies, like I will touch on one thing Alex said. Ben Davies, I have to agree with him. Coaching the horses, damn right, Rumi. It's the only place to be on match day. Ben Davies, when we were playing in that second half, his experience, his calmness is incredible for us. Which isn't saying that shows how bad things are if we're saying that this is where we are right now. But I think Ben Davies, no matter what, he comes in for stick, and yes, we do need better. There is no doubt we need better. But he always gives 110%.
Yeah.
In all the time where we had the bad eggs the last time, but yeah, Toronto is the city I love. Absolutely love it, G. I wouldn't move back to London if you paid me. I love my life in Toronto. But yeah, Ben Davies is never one causing trouble. Is never one throwing chaos grenades into the team, or if you ever said such and such was in the paper for doing something, you'd never ever once even think Ben Davies. And when he's come on this season, he has stood up and been counted. And because he's been here so long, and because we haven't got in a better standard of defender, he comes in for a lot of criticism. And sometimes it's warranted for his match, but he deserves the credit. If you're going to give the criticism, you got to be able to give the praise. I think Alex was absolutely right with Davies. It really peed me off in the second half how easy it was for them. But the worst thing about it was both the goals they scored were brilliant. You could do nothing about it. The first one was a great counter-attack, but our problem was you're 2-0 up in Europe and you're home sailing and you need to get a win. You've just had a penalty decision rightfully overturned, and you're defending with only 2 players on the halfway line. You're asking for trouble. And then the second goal, you put in a cross like that of that quality to a outfield player running with that much of a run up on a defender like Porro, he's going to outjump him and outpower him and get that header on target. The most important thing about that game was getting 3 points. That was the hook and by crook, was getting into that top 8 to try and avoid the playoff and 2 extra games. And Spurs got the job done. Was the performance good enough? Well, that's depending on how you want to weigh it up. For me, it was 3 points in the bag, but the performance could have been better. but the 3 points was more important than the performance. Just like tomorrow. Tomorrow, 3 points, which I don't think we're getting, is a lot more important than the performance. Someone said we had to see a Conte boring, like people say, oh, Conte was boring. If I had to see a boring Conte performance and we win 1-0, or roll the dice and see what we get, I'm taking a 1-0 boring victory every single time.
Absolutely, Brian.
Yeah, yeah. Well, my bit on Ben Davies, right? I've never ever sort of had a go at that man. Every game, Ben Davies, 7 out of 10. He's never a 3, but he's
Yep.
never a 9. He's always in that middle. And it's like Brian said, when the bad eggs was here that used to complain and moan, he was not one of them. All right, he knows he's going to have limited game time now, especially when everyone's fit, because he's getting old.
Yep.
You know, but he never complains. And to be honest, when he does hang his boots up, I'd like to see him stay, be a coach or help the youngsters. Or I don't know him obviously personally, but I think he's that sort of guy. You know, he's sort of someone that'd be good to keep about the place. You know.
Correct. I mean, you got to look at it as well. With Vuskovic and Phillips coming in, do you want a player that will show you how to train, how to conduct yourself off the pitch, and what they can do in the back room? Yes. Does that mean he should stay on as a player? No. Should he be able to stay on there in some kind of coaching capacity or whatever the role it is? Yeah, sure. We do need better. There's no doubting, but that's not on Ben. Ben Davies is what, 31 or 2 now, maybe even older. He's done 10 years at this club. But go on, Al. Go on, Mr.
I was
Box
going to say this. I love you, Mark. Yeah, but you said something wrong. I'm sorry, mate, but I have to pick you up on it. You said Ben Davies. When Ben Davies, when the first team comes back, Ben Davies is on the bench. Well, I don't like that. Sorry, because that's called a backup, and I don't like backups.
Yeah.
I don't do backups. I don't do backups anymore, because if I hear backups, might as well get Timo Werner a membership. You know what I mean? Yeah, get Harry Winks back. You know who we're playing tomorrow. Go get Dyer back. You know what I mean? That bang average defender. You know what I mean? So I listen. As far as I'm concerned, if Davis is playing well, he starts. Right?
Yeah.
Romero's got to fight for his place. He's been rubbish this season. He's been crap. Sorry, I'm being ruthless now. I've had enough of it. I've had enough of this trying to this like about we ain't got our players. We ain't got our players. Bournemouth have got no players.
Oh, mate,
got no players.
Alex, I have to say, just because you said that, I put a tweet out earlier and I went fishing. I said, I put a tweet out saying, do you know what? If only Bournemouth hadn't been decimated with injuries, their season could have been really, 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 really good if it hadn't been decimated with injuries. Yeah. Only Spurs have excuses, other teams find solutions. Oh, my God, you should see the people that have nibbled. Oh my God, they don't play 3 times a week. Oh my,
excuses.
It was funny. It was. It's been absolutely hysterical.
They managed to score better. The man, Ariola's managed to score much better than what we've got at the moment. I'm sorry, it's just absolute nonsense. I heard, like I say, some of the excuses I heard from Tottenham fans, and it's just like, oh, we win a game, and it just gets pathetic. Honestly, it's just like you can't let it lie. There's sometimes you just think, okay, let them have a moment. Let them have a moment. But some of the things you hear, and you just sit there and think, oh, right, okay, cool, right. This manager just gets so much excuses. It's just unbelievably embarrassing to the point where I'm just thinking, I didn't hear these excuses of Pochettino. And I didn't hear these excuses. And I'm not going to say that I like the guy. Didn't like Mourinho. I did not like Conte. I did not like them both. I didn't even like Nuno. But the excuses that I'm hearing for this manager, it's just ridiculous. Honestly, to the point where I'm just like, really? Everyone knows you're going to play you're going to play 2 games a week. You're not going to play train a lot. You know what I mean? It's always going to be a recovery. That's a standard. Most of the players have done it before. It's a standard, and it's like people explaining, well, they're only going to be recovery and stuff. Oh, you got to feel sorry for them. Sorry, some of them have played Europe. They played in internationals, so they should know by now. Ange Postecoglou was a seasoned manager, not a coach, because I don't rate him as a coach. He's terrible. He's awful. Yeah, I've established that already. Yeah, I'm sorry, he's terrible. But you know, he's done this before with Celtic. He's done this before. So what is he talking about? Saying, "Oh well, I've got to feel sorry for the players and everything else." That's a standard for a top 6 club. Honestly, some of the nonsense I've heard, and it's like they've just woke up today and thought, "Oh, this is how it works in Europe, in Europa League." No, really, seriously, bloody hell. Sorry, I didn't even think I was going to be. I thought I was going to be relaxed today. You know what I mean? But obviously, something was needed to get off my chest. Back to you, Mark. Both Marks. I'm done. If you don't know, get to know. And I've just started.
That's it.
Love it, mate. Love
He's
it.
warming up. He's warming up that engine.
Yeah.
He's getting ready.
Yeah,
Love it. Love it.
yeah.
Chaps, what are your thoughts on? Sorry, I'm just going to stick out some random questions out there and see how we go, because we can talk about the same thing over and over, but just want to go a little bit deeper. What is it going to take for, number one, for Postecoglou to get the sack? Yeah, or on the other boot, what's got to change for Levy not to sack him? Without being, you go as deep as you want, Brian, whatever you think. Because I can't understand why he's not gone yet.
No, nor me.
I don't get that. I do to a point, but then I don't in the whole scheme of things.
The only reason, in my opinion, that he hasn't been sacked is because he knows then it's another project gone wrong, another project he hasn't seen through, another project where he thought he knew best and it's gone wrong. I think it's getting to a time now where, again, it's hard for me to say what I'm about to say because, as Alex regularly says when he's on shows and talks about Levy out, he would always refer to myself and Stel, and I credit him for doing that because he will always say, "Listen, if you want to talk about it, or and he'll use me and Stel." I've been like this for 17 years. 17 years I've been saying this, and I think it comes across with people that may have just switched. Maybe it was Pochettino being sacked, or Kane going, or I'm just picking random things, or even right now. People will think, my God, Brian's a bit harsh all the time. Brian really has a problem. I was like, yeah, because I've done it for 17 years. When you've just become Levy out, wherever it be, when you're not as far down the line as me, I have a lot of pent-up anger, a lot of pent-up aggression. Or not aggression, that's the wrong word. I have a lot of evidence. I have a lot of, I've told you this, or not just me, other people that have done this for as long. And it's raw. He is keeping him because I think no one will actually want to come here of class. I don't think he's got another leg to stand on. For him to not sack him, it's the same question. I mean, if we lose to Leicester tomorrow, you got to remember with Everton winning now, Everton are 1 point below us.
Mm-hmm.
They have a game in hand. Yes, it's Liverpool, so you can pretty much say, yeah, that's the 3 points they're not getting. But you never know in football. Ipswich and Crystal Palace hadn't won a game till they played us, but they won. So you could never say never in the Premier League. But the only good thing for Levy is the bottom 3 and Wolves are so poor that I think the lowest we can get dragged into is 16th, which is still the most horrific thing for a Spurs fan to be able to say. And I saw Paul O'Keefe going on about things today, and I've joined Paul O'Keefe on a few on these comments when people go in, when he's gone mad about the ownership, people have said, well, look at Joel Redknapp and Poch. And then I responded going, well, you want to talk about how long the managers last here? We've had 7 in the last 5 at the game-changing stadium. And that's only because I've counted Mason once. So it should technically be 8. Then you want to talk Martin Jol, who is the reason I am Levy out, the catalyst for where Spurs started to grow. He was a manager that they stumbled across and fluked because it was Santini, and then they just promoted within. Harry Redknapp they went and got. Pochettino was second choice behind Van Gaal. So the two of the three big ones that have stayed here for long were found by absolute fluke, or other managers turning them down, like Van Gaal to go to United. I just don't know what happens. I think should we lose to Leicester tomorrow, and I'll be honest right now, if you gave me a draw right now, I'll take it.
Yeah.
Because I've got a very good friend who's a Leicester fan that Alex knows well, Mark Sheriff knows well, Wayne Holland. And when I spoke to him this week or last week, I spoke to him during the Fulham game they lost. He was like, "We're going down, we're embarrassing, blah blah blah." And I said to him, "Have you noticed a difference from Cooper to Van Nistelrooy?" I said, "The results, you're in a hiding. Obviously, you've lost 6 or 7 games straight, but have you seen a difference in the way your team are playing?" He goes, "Yeah, we look a lot more balanced. We look a lot more structured. We have a game plan. But the thing is, we're creating chances and we're not taking them. And if you go look at the Fulham game, we made 2 defensive errors, and in the Premier League, you get punished."
Yeah.
Well, they've had a week to recuperate, refresh, re-energize. And our injury depleted squad are going to have to go out again and put in another shift. I think this will be Dragusin's 22nd game straight. Yes, he's gone off in some of them. He wasn't well, and obviously went off injured against, or went off for a precaution against Everton. Jamie Vardy always scores against us. And our defence is going to be Dragusin and Davies, or Dragusin and Gray. Or maybe even Gray and Davies. But pace is not what we're blessed with. And he will get opportunities. And we'll have to see. I think he's going to hold on for as long as he can with Postecoglou. It answers your question, Mark. But I think, should we lose tomorrow, I dread to think what that stadium. Alex, you going tomorrow?
No, I'm not going tomorrow.
I dread to think what's going to be in that stadium. But I just hope people walk the walk tomorrow as well as talk the talk.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, at 5-1 down though against Liverpool at home, they were all singing his name. That to me was mystifying.
Yeah, but I will say one thing though, Mark, and I asked a few people, Ian Lubo and others that do go regularly, because I couldn't hear it from the Scotland Yard, but that could be because we're actually making more noise than the stadium does.
Yeah.
I said, "Have you heard the Ange Postecoglou chant sang recently?" They're like, "Nope."
Oh.
Nope. So they've stopped, I think, since that Liverpool game or since the Forest game. At the home games, it hasn't been sung. May have been sung in the 1-0 Carabao Cup game because we were winning. But it is not how often that was sung. Is the lack of it being sung a sign that obviously the tide or the pendulum has swung against him, and rather than chanting "We want Ange out" or "sacked him" or whatever chant you come up with, maybe the silence is deafening. Maybe.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Well, the only thing I've heard, I forget which show or podcast I was listening to, it was our glorious leader has said that he acknowledges the fact that he sacked all these managers, right? And he doesn't want the chopping and changing. And so that is why he's keeping Ange. But the evidence historically, he's always, put it this way, right? If a stadium didn't generate the money it does now, with the rugby, with the boxing, with the concerts, with Lord knows what else goes on there, managers have been sacked for not getting Europe, because Europe was a big thing to get the extra money in. Because we all know that the chairman's all about the money. You don't care about anything else.
Yep.
It's all about the money. It's all about the money. But now, basically now we're an entertainment complex. that football gets played at now and again, but that's all we are. It's an entertainment complex, and that football happens to break out once every 2 weeks when we're at home. But that sort of like getting Champions League and getting European money, that I'm not saying it's not important, but it's not as important as it used to be. When because you've got to remember, the live events they can have there has been upped from 15 to 30 or 18 to 30. And so it's doubled or very nearly doubled. So they're raking in money from that. So being successful on the pitch is even more on the back burner now than it was before. And it was never high on the agenda before, let alone now. So that's why I think he's still here. Because let's face it, right? If this was before the stadium was built at the old White Hart Lane, he'd have been gone ages ago. Ages and ages ago, he'd have been gone. He'd have been out on his ear at the end of last season.
I don't think he would, Mark. That's the thing. I agree with what you're saying.
Yeah.
But like I said, the buck stops with Levy, and he cannot risk admitting he's screwed up again.
Yeah, exactly. And he knows if he gets rid of him, all the fingers will be pointing over there at the West Stand.
So someone sent me a picture, just to kind of, someone sent me this picture. When I looked at it, I was like, God, this is damning. So I'm going to go through our January transfer windows since 2017. 2017, no one. 2018, Lucas Moura on the last day of the window. 2019, no one. 2020, Steven Bergwijn and Gedson Fernandes.
That's when we should have got Bruno.
2021, making its hat-trick appearance. No one. 22nd January 2022, Bentancur and Kulusevski. Last day of the window, when we were doing the protest outside the training ground, missed 2 semi-final legs against Chelsea in the Carabao Cup, could have brought a trophy or gone to Wembley, brought in too little too late. 2023, Pedro Porro, knew we wanted him on the first day, dragged off a whole month just to pay what originally was asked on the 1st of January, and of course, that blockbuster signing, the signing of the window, Arnautovic Danjuma. Last season, Radu Dragusin and Timo. And so far this window, Kinski, no outfield player. Yeah, this club and January, this club and transfer windows, it's never ever about assisting the manager, because I could say Kinski, Radu, they were last day. Bergwijn were the only ones that weren't signed on deadline day. Oh, and add Werner to that.
Oh dear! It's not a good state of affairs, is it?
No.
When we're looking at it from the outside, looking in. Now, there's a question, Brian. I don't know when the last time you went to the ground was, but Alex, I know you go regular. Now, I need to ask this question because I've never been to the Levy Bowl, right? I refuse to give him my money. I ain't giving him nothing. Now, I remember back in the day being at White Hart Lane up in the shelf, and when it was rocking up there, because I was there for the 84 European Cup final, right? So I know when White Hart Lane's rocking, what it's like when it's rocking. So I don't know if one of you can just give maybe some of the chat and insight who haven't been to the ground, maybe, and me too. What is I know there's 60,000 there instead of 36,000, but atmosphere-wise, Alex, what is the atmosphere like in the ground? Can you try and explain that to people for me?
I think
please?
when you go there, I think people need to understand that. I think that they go for the love of their team, and some of them just go to see their friends, and that's it really for me. And I don't see. Yeah, sometimes it is a bit quiet. I have to be honest, but
A bit.
most of the time, a little bit. Sometimes it does get noisy. It does get noisy, and there are a lot of passionate Tottenham fans that are, you know, very much in the game. You know what I mean? They're very, very hyped for the game. I think for me, and I think there are still passionate fans there, from what I see anyway. Um, yeah, I do see that a lot of the time. And I think that, you know, they're just normally just very passionate about what they do, and you know what's going on the pitch. I'm very supportive of the team. I think, especially with what the entertainment and stuff, and what they try and g up the fans at the beginning of the match with the trumpet, and the announcer as well. Paul, what's his name? Paul, I think his name is. I can't remember now. His
Quite,
name.
Paul Coy, innit? Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah. So, you know, in some way, I think they are. You know, I think the atmosphere is. For me, I think that it is very loud when it gets loud. You know what I mean? But there's the odd times when we're not doing well. Yeah, it doesn't really. But I think a lot of the young people do help towards that. You see, I do think most of the young people do that, and I think that encourages some of the older lot as well, elderly lot as well. So I think it still has a little bit of a good atmosphere in my eyes when what I've sat there for me, especially in the South Stand. To be honest with you, um,
Well,
you know,
yeah.
yeah.
I sat in the South Stand because I've been to the Levy Bowl 4 times, 5 times, and I sat in the South Stand right over near where Ellie sits, which is the standing only area. And there was somebody next to me, sat down the whole game, didn't cheer, didn't sing, nothing, staring at his phone the whole game. Because I was like glancing, I was thinking, what are you even doing here? Not singing now, because I don't go that often. When I'm there, shouting, screaming, jumping up and down if Tottenham score, you know, all the songs. And I'm like normally drunk when I get there because I've been drinking on the bus on the way up. Even so, it's a day out for me because I don't go that often. I want to enjoy it when I'm there, you know. But twice I've actually sat in the South Stand, and there's been people in front. I saw one person playing Candy Crush when the game was going on.
Mark, you know listen, I will tell you, I could go and make myself a cup of tea, and my kettle will make more noise than the stadium does now.
Yeah, it's not like White Hart Lane.
That's there are times when I have watched games when I've been at the Yard, and there are periods of silence where. Do you remember when COVID was going on and there was no one in the stadium? You'd hear the players and the managers shouting. That was louder. That was louder. The last game I went to, and the only reason I went to it was because after we beat Newcastle or lost to Newcastle 6-1. We did for the first time ever a protest midweek, which took a lot of working out, and I had to take a day off work because obviously when we've done it on a weekend day, people are going to the football. When you do it on a weekday, people are coming from work. You got to set it up. You got to do everything. Forgot that where we do meet, that where we put those banners up, that's a school. So we were putting the banners up during school hours. The teachers were coming out going, "What are you doing? This is." But we had to take a lot of time. I took a day off work. We did that, and I went in there because it was the first day we were getting the balloons on the pitch. Got the Levy out chants going big time. But I specifically said to myself, I am walking out of this stadium on the 61st minute, regardless. And the reason for walking out in the 61st minute is evident for obvious reasons. Last time we won the league, and I said I'm not stepping foot in there ever again until things drastically change, or Levy's finally gone. And as Marge said, when I was sitting the safe standing, but Ben and Sim had a couple of seats by them, so I usually always sit with Ben and Sim when I've been going there anyway. But I went up to join them, and 2 rows in front of me, or 3 rows, there was a couple, or not a couple of people playing Candy Crush.
Yeah, I saw it.
To the right of me, there were people saying that this is all Conte's fault, and Conte's got us in this mess. I was like, and behind me, I had 2 grown men saying and discussing whether they should take their families on a summer holiday to Brazil or Portugal. And I was like, that's it, get me out of here before I do
Yeah.
something I will never be able to take back. I walked out of the North London derby that season, 2-0 down. That game, man, you were winning 2-0 and screaming, we want the Glazers out the entire time, even though they'd won a League Cup and were in an FA Cup final. And I will not ever step foot back in that stadium. And the only other way I do it if I was back home is if there was a mass, and I do mean mass protest. Like it had gone full kilt, and it was like, right, we're going for Levy the whole game regardless. Then I'll be in there to lend my support. When I come back to England in April, minimum of 5 days, I will be outside that training ground, whether it's by myself or when I put it on my social media, people want to join me. Because I do as I say, and I say as I do when it comes to Levy.
Yeah.
Whether people have liked me, hated me, loved me, revered me, well, whatever terminology you want to look at me at, when it's come to this matter, I have always been where I say I'll be. I've always done what I said I'll do. And I will stop at as I keep saying, mate, I won't step foot in there. And I will say, as long as there is blood pumping through my veins, air going in and out my lungs, and my heart is beating, I will forever be fighting this fight. And that's where it is. And like I said, it's for that reason. You're not, Mark, put it this way, mate. You're not missing anything going into that stadium. You watch it at home or in the pub or wherever you do. You've got the best seat in the house. You can go to the Kazi whenever you want. Get the food or hot drink or cold drink, whatever you want. You can watch the game. Once the game's finished, you just go, none of the travel nonsense and getting out of the ground. The price of the tickets are out of control.
Yeah, so
They're now letting
70.
away fans are getting into the home ends. They don't care. They're getting the money. The people that were the like you said, the shelf and the Park Lane, that little corner that used to make they used to make all the noise. They're all scattered all over the place because we can't have them together. I mean, that would have been the best thing to do to the South Stand. Say, right, you guys are the loudest. We're putting you all together in the South Stand. Where do you want to sit? Do you want to be down the bottom, up the top, in the middle, wherever, to make sure we've got that crescendo of noise to generate the atmosphere? No. They're here, there, wherever. Believe me, you're not missing much. You are not missing much at the stadium. Don't get me wrong, it is an architectural masterpiece.
Yes, yeah.
There's not a stone left unturned in that Levy Dome. Not a stone left unturned. It is a incredible entertainment arena. And I will give him credit for putting the stadium off and making it as incredible as it is. It's just a shame he's destroyed every single thing that should bring enjoyment in that stadium to the football fan.
Yeah.
I just need to I want to just time in a little bit on your second question, Mark, because I just thought it's important that I need to say something on this because I wanted to hear everybody else's opinion on that. I can't remember what the question was about Ange, when do you think Ange is going to be sacked, and whether he could save it, maybe. Well, firstly, I've made it very, very clear, that even if he wins the Carabao Cup, I still want him gone.
Yep.
I'll be celebrating. I'll say I was wrong about him not winning a trophy because he's proved it. He said he's going to do it. So I'll say, well done. Still, I want you gone, right? The only way that I would change my mind this season is if he does well in the Europa League, and I know for a fact. Well, we've got no chance of winning Europa League. You're not telling me, because in the European campaign has been shambles, right?
We are still the
We
favourites, Alex. We are still the
I don't know
favourites.
how we are.
Couldn't understand that either.
Because I'm not being funny, right? Some of the teams we played, right, that have not been that great, right? They've had us off the park. I've got to be honest, right? And I'm not even lying. For me, I don't think it's actually been that great, right? And when we play someone decent, we've been rubbish, right? We've got it handed to us, right? So yeah, I think he will be here by the end of the season, right? He's getting backed. I don't care if he's getting any players, because the record is worse than Christian Gross, and Daniel Levy hasn't sacked him yet. So for me, he's getting backed. He's getting backed. So I can't have a go at the board anymore, because when you remember when I said, when this guy came in June 2023, when everyone was having a go at me saying, "Oh, didn't want me on their streams because they said, oh, what is Mr. Box Office talking about? Oh, he talking waffle. Oh, he's an idiot. Oh, he's this. Oh, he's that." Well, I'm the most PG person going. I was talking the truth all that time, and look who's right all along. You know what I mean? But anyway, moving on, right? But the point is, yeah, is that I said, when this guy has a bad run of games, right? It normally is the manager's getting sacked, because Pochettino got sacked, Mourinho got sacked, Martin got sacked. You know, Ramos, which is similar this season, looks like Ramos to me right now. George Graham, remember him? Who won a trophy, but we don't even want to talk about him, don't we? The former Arsenal one, yeah. And that when he wins the Carabao Cup, he'll look like a hero, Postecoglou. Anyway, moving on. But the point is, right? Yeah, I said, right, when he has a bad run of games, right, we'll see whether the chickens will come home to roost, and they'll stick with their man. Well, at the moment, they're sticking with their man. They're sticking with their man. You know what I mean? So I can't sit there and say having a go at Levy at the moment, which is ironic now when I'm hearing loads of people now. And this is, again, I'm not having a go at people Ange in, right? Because there's Eugene in there, who I absolutely love, by the way, who I don't agree with. I do not agree with, but he's an absolute gentleman and turns up every single time, comes on Savers, comes on lots of other opposite opinions, and he turns up and he gives it a go, right? And I love that guy. You know what I mean? And don't get used to it though, Eugene. Do not get used to it. But treasure that for the rest of your life. You know what I mean? But he's a lovely guy. And you know what I mean? I'll take him every single time, because he's got the opposite opinion. I do not like echo chambers, and he's brilliant. You know what I mean? Even though I don't agree with him, right? You know, and he does. And I don't mind people don't like, but you've got to give me a football opinion. But back on what I'm saying at the moment, right, is that they've backed him, they've stuck with him. You know what I mean? So I can't have a go at them. You know what I mean? And like I said, Ange, this is why I couldn't back him, because I think we're better with coaches. This guy is not a coach. You know what I mean? You don't see him on the training ground improving players. No one's improved. Right, I'm now repeating myself again. Sorry to everybody that's heard me before, Mr. Box Office TV, heard me before. I'm repeating myself again. I do apologize. Maybe you have to fast forward on this one. But the point is, though, yeah, right, is that I don't see anybody really improving. Yeah, we're working hard. We're playing in a system. Great. Okay, that's not really that. It's so obvious, isn't it? But I mean, it don't look like it's getting any better. You see what I'm saying? When I see Man City, what they're doing at the moment, yes, they've got great players, but I'm seeing the top manager of the best last decade adapt him, playing long balls, playing Haaland to do in the build up, because he's got a good physique to bloody hold the ball up, and then holding the ball up to like some of the best good players like Mamouche and Foden, who scored today. You know what I mean? I see Bournemouth doing it. You know what I mean? And improving players, seeing different players that are from this point to this point now. You know what I mean? Like we had before with like Gareth Bale, look at him. Modric, look at him. Robbie Keane. You know what I mean? Canute back in the day. Defoe back in the day. You know what I mean? Like with Pochettino, who's improving players left, right, and centre, because he's a proper coach. You know what I mean? You know? Even Conte improved bloody Virgil and bloody Dyer, for goodness sake. You know? What would you say about that? For goodness sake, you know what I mean? So, for me, at the moment, he's gonna have to do a lot more to improve me right now, to prove it to me right now. You know what I mean? And for me, that Leicester game, I don't care what the performance is. You've got to get a result, bruv. You've got to get a result because we're in banging trouble. Everton are 1 point behind us. 1 point behind us. You having a laugh? And then you're telling me to back this process. Give me a break. You know what I mean? Back to you, Mark. I'm done. I've had enough of this rubbish. You know what I mean? If you don't know, get to know.
I was just literally writing the response to Cockney Geezer on this. There isn't a single football related question, and I don't mean like, oh, would you touch a snake, which is my phobia, if Levy was to go. There is not a single football related question that you could ask me, and then you say, and if this happens, Levy goes, that I will ever say no to. Not a single one. But what people do have to realise, if we did get relegated, which we won't because the 3-4 teams below us are even worse, he wouldn't sell. Because we go down to the Championship, our valuation halves. He loses a fuckload of money. Yes, it'll be a lot more attractive for a buyer to go, right, you want 4 billion, now it's 2 billion.
Yeah.
But he's not going to take a £2 billion hit. Not a chance. If Spurs were to get relegated, would I accept that? If someone said Levy leaves if we get relegated, hello Championship. But it won't happen. In fact, that would be the very, very worst thing to happen because it would wipe half the value off and we're stuck with them for even longer. But I get what Courtney Geezer is saying, and in a heartbeat, if it meant the end of Levy, as I said, people keep going on, and I'm going to bring the person's name up, but I don't want to bring up Judas. People are banging on about Judas, so I can't stand, and he brings it on himself. He fucked us over once. And I understand, believe me, I can't stand him, and then the adverts before the NLD, it's reignited it. Levy's done a lot more damage than Sol Campbell ever did. But I would literally take, if you told me relegation Levy goes, I look forward to Plymouth away next season. I look forward to going to whatever team.
Excellent.
Millwall and Coventry and Blackburn Rovers. Fine.
Bristol is only up the road from me.
Wherever it may be. But the sad point is, and I know a lot of people are saying, do you know what? But this is the thing, a lot of people are saying, and I understand where they're coming from because it's the passion in them saying, if we get relegated, Levy will sell. Theoretically, yes, because we're in the Championship. But as soon as that happens, the money to complete that hotel all of a sudden dries up because Spurs won't be making as much revenue because Levy won't pay any of it himself. Getting relegated is, as much as it sounds like, oh no, they'll hate that, they'll sell. No, they won't. We've got to be serious here. If I said to you this is 4 billion, but now it's 2 billion, but if you get back up there, it's 4 billion. They will go into the Championship with that PSR money that we've got. They will throw the book at it to get back up into the Premier League and then sell it. They will never. I mean, I don't need. It's not the thought of us going down. Yes, we're getting dragged into this, but especially if we lose tomorrow. But Wolves are so poor, for us, fortunately, but not for their fans. And the three in the bottom are even worse. So we won't get dragged into it. We won't get dragged into it because the other teams are so bad. There's 4 teams there that are vying for 3 places.
Luckily, that is mine. Yeah.
I don't think Levy will leave. Levy won't sell though. Levy will not sell, and I'm trying to be respectful to you, Brian, because I know you're in the fight. But I think someone kind of scored an own goal with their video. I think you know who I'm talking about. I think it was a year ago, a month ago, 3 months ago, 4 months ago. and it just a light bulb just lit in my head that at the moment I know exactly what he's trying to do, and it's got nothing to do with the football. It's got nothing to do with the football, and I know exactly what he's trying to do. And he's in for the long haul, and that's exactly why we're getting investment in as well. For me, I just know this in my head at the moment. I just don't, and that's why I don't really, because one again, I'm trying to be respectful because I've got this man right beside me here, and he's been fighting the battle for quite a while. Like and I want him out as well, but at the same time, I have to look at reality. I think in one way he's an absolute genius. He's an absolute genius because he's making a lot of money. It's one way you're sitting there thinking you might as well look at him and think, you know what, that's kind of someone that you can look up to because you're sitting there thinking, well, if you do that, if you're doing what he's doing at the moment, try and be up to that. You'll be doing that the same thing that he's doing at the moment. But another way, you're sitting there thinking, that's why he won't leave. You know what I mean? That's why he wants investment because it's not to do with the football. He's not using that investment to use it for the football. So I'm trying to be skirt around the subject a little bit because I don't want to go there because then it gets very, very personal. You know what I mean? So you see, Mr. Botsoff is doing diplomatic because I know where not to go, but it's just that for me is why I don't think he's leaving. We're never going to get to where we're going to get to. The only thing is though, the managers that are coming in know, and he's said it himself, Ange Postecoglou again, that talks too much. He said he knew what he was getting himself into. Why? If you listen to the overlap and listen to Les Ferdinand when they had the subject about managers coming in, you speak to the director, you know exactly what you're going to get into. You know what you're going into with the club. You know what I mean? So you're not like short chain saying, "Well, I didn't really know about that." You know what I mean? I can understand it a little bit with Conte, and I can understand it a little bit with Mourinho because I kind of think that they were getting persuaded a little bit. You know what I mean? But Postecoglou knew exactly what he was getting himself into, didn't he? Let's be honest here. You know what I mean? When he's talking to the director, what was it, Paratici or Gabardini at the time. So this is where you got to look at the manager and say, you know what, you're kind of putting the rod at your own back here. You know what I mean? But yeah, he is the problem, Levy. But he ain't leaving. He ain't leaving.
No.
And that's the long and the short of it. You know what I mean? And there's only so much I can, you can sit there and want something to happen. And you're just sitting there thinking, well, the more and more I want this to happen, the more and more life is going on, the more and more I'm not making any money myself. So I'm sitting there thinking I need to start thinking about myself and thinking about what am I going to keep my keep? You know what I mean? So that's the way I look at it. You know what I mean? So but again, I know he's the major problem, Daniel Levy. I know he is, but at the end of the day, he ain't leaving, and the club are getting worse. Something's got to give. You know what I mean? So
yeah, I've been saying it for a long time now. I've been saying it for a long time. But as much as I want him to leave, Brian definitely wants him to leave, and I'm sure all of us on here want him to leave. Now he's built a £1 billion, basically. Let's call a spade a spade. That stadium is a cash printing machine. It's a license to print money, that stadium, right? Now, when I wouldn't say invested, but borrowed all this money, right? It's like someone taking a company from the bottom with nothing, building it up to the size of, I don't know, Apple, Nike, whatever, insert company. And then just when it's at the top, you say, oh, well, that's it now, I'll sell it. As the money's rolling in now. That stadium, I mean, it's like I said, I've been there 4 or 5 times, and it is basically it's a license to print money, that stadium. Because when you go in there, you can't pay cash for anything. And so that saves all the like cash, change. So when you go and get a pint at one of the many bars, longest bar in Europe, mind, let's get that in there. Right, but when you go and get a pint, instead of you giving them a 20, they got to go and sort your change out, bring it back to you, thank you very much, rah, 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 rah. It's just, doop, with your phone or your card or whatever, boop, and then they're straight on to the next one. He's even got it down to that. I believe that goal line bar can serve, is it 20,000 pints an hour?
Wow.
That's the last figure I heard. That's the last figure I heard, but it probably does more than that, you know. But they've got so many bar staff in it. Yes, there are queues and queues and queues, but there's so many staff behind there that you're not waiting that long because that's all it is. It tells it when you get your number, so you can get tickets and whatever. You're not fan number. It's what does that CRN is it client or
Client
customer or client rep?
number.
Yeah, client. And so basically, client customer is the same thing. We are customers. We're not fans. You know, I mean, you would have thought that number you get, it would have been fan number, or you know what I mean, would have been something about you supporting the club. You know, but no, it's client. That's all we are. We're clients. In that stadium, I'll tell you, it's a license to print money. It really is. It's everything in there. It's bing, 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 and it's boom, there. Because all they're interested in is you getting your stuff, going away, so they can serve the next one. That's all it is. That's all it is. And so he, in my opinion, as much as I want him out, and I do, he is not going nowhere now. We're at the... He's got everything now to make as much money as he wants. You know, and unfortunately, I believe, well, he was never going to sell anyway, as much as everyone shouts and screams. But I'm not saying you shouldn't try to get him out.
Look, the sad thing, Mark, is I've started to call Tottenham Hotspur Checkmate FC.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason I've started to call them Checkmate FC is because every time you think there's a glimmer of hope, whether it be a player, whether it be a manager, whether it be something or a potential buyout, Daniel Levy just makes one move on the chessboard and goes, ha, checkmate. Because the last two takeovers that I've heard, the first people wanted him out. I don't know who they were or whatever, but they wanted him out. And they said, I stay on as chairman. No, you go. No. And then there was another one where they made the offer prepared for him to go. But then he said, but I keep hold of the stadium. And I'm the landlord and that's mine and you rent it out from me. And the other, and they were, no. So it doesn't matter what happens. Whenever a bid comes in or fresh investment comes in, as soon as they meet, like what's happened before with transfers, as soon as they meet the demands, he'll change it for something else.
Mm-hmm.
Someone needs to come in. And do you know what? I put it on my Twitter. I'm a sucker for punishment. I was so pissed off after the Everton game for the next couple of days that I went back and rewatched the Newcastle documentary just to see what the other side of the coin is like. Because if people have seen that, you'll see it's only a 4-part show, but in the first 10 minutes, I wanted to be sick because the owner, if you go back to the All or Nothing, and obviously it can be filmed a certain way to look a certain way and editorial rights and whatever. One of the very first things they say to the Newcastle chairman is, what do you want to do with this football club? Where do you want to be? And he goes, well, I want to be number one. I've come here to win things. I am here to win things. The very first thing you see Daniel Levy do in our documentary is ask if we can get more seats in the South Stand.
Mm-hmm.
Then, throughout that, the chairman of Newcastle is asked how much responsibility do you have in the football operations? He turns around and goes, 0. I am chairman of many things. And if I needed to be hands-on with this, I would just fire everyone with the football knowledge and and I'll take over. I don't have football knowledge. It's like, this is in the first 10 minutes. And then just coming up to the 10-minute mark where they say, was it a bold move hiring Eddie Howe? who just got a team Bournemouth relegated. Chairman turned around and go, no, it's actually even better because now he knows what not to do. He would have learnt from this. And they put faith in a manager that had just been relegated. Said, what do you need? What do you want? Yes, they haven't been. And then if you watch that first episode and see what Amanda Staveley gives a speech in that first 10 minutes about how passionate it is and what an honour it is to be a part of Newcastle and to make this club, this great club, big again. And the work she puts in. We have Steve Hitchin telling us that January's a shit window. Amanda Staveley's going back and forth to the chairman in Dubai, or not Dubai, wherever it is, exaggerating, wherever it was, to try and get this deal done and say, we have to get this guy for Eddie, we have to pull out all the stops, we need to get it, got it done. And she talks her knowledge of Anthony Gordon, her knowledge of Newcastle. And I sit back here and watch the bits I can remember with Daniel Levy in ours is asking for more seats at the beginning, holding a boardroom meeting with all the lawyers to sort out the Mourinho contract in the cafeteria, not in the boardroom, because that's where you do all your big deals, isn't it? In front of all the players, sitting around having your breakfast. Then trying to get Christian Eriksen to stay, and then failing, and then talking to Tanguy and Dembele. Listen, they can be filmed whatever way they can, but if you want to make yourself feel sick and see what passionate owners, forget where they come from, forget the background, go listen to them. Go watch that Newcastle documentary. It's only 4 episodes. It is incredible. I love watching it. I think it's an expertly done documentary. And we look at what we've got. We look at what we've got. What?
Great, is it?
No, it's not. It's not, Mark. Unfortunately, it's not.
I think Daniel Levy's not. It's a question. It's a question I need to ask everybody, right? Would you let go of £1 million or £100 million?
Absolutely not.
No, you're not going to worry.
So this is the point. This is the point. Daniel Levy is not leaving that stadium. Now he's built that stadium, right? He ain't leaving. He ain't leaving. Well, I don't think he will. I don't think Enoch will leave because that is a cash money sort of thing. That is right in the middle of London. Well, in North London. You know what I mean? And I know it's sad for me to say it, but for me, like a guy that is a business guy, whatever it is, don't just leave something just like that. You know what I mean? You just don't. Yeah, I wish I could. You know what I mean? I wish it would happen. You know what I mean? But I don't know what you think, Brian. But that's just me. I just think that's my reality, and that's it. Really.
The way it is now is, and it's very easy. I mean, a lot of people say, why don't we target Joe Lewis? Why don't we go for Joe Lewis? Why are there not Enoch out chance? Well, the simple reason is Bahama Joe is on his yacht wherever it is, and probably doesn't even know we're playing tomorrow. If we sing we want Lewis out or Enoch out, you don't even fucking know. You ain't got a clue. The only reason, or for the majority of reasons, it's Levy that everyone goes for is because that bastard is at every single game overseeing how crap we are and doesn't do a damn thing about it. But
when does Uncle Joe go? Twice a year? Twice a year, I think. Uncle Joe.
He hasn't been to the new stadium.
Yeah, I'm sure I've seen him in there.
Okay, might have gone to the opening. Mate, he has been in the 25 years that the Spurs have been owned by them. I can guarantee you, I can count the amount of times on one hand. On one hand, I can count the amount of times. Oh, he obviously turned up for the Champions League final because that was of grave importance. We had to turn up just in case. But right now, there seems to be a power struggle, and Joe Lewis wants out.
Yeah.
Now that's 70% of the club, or 7. That's the lion's share of it, and he wants out. And it's been brewing, whether it's true, but there are serious rumbles now that he wants out of the listen. He turns 88
Ain't
next
his
month.
kids got them? Ain't his kids got that anyway?
Vivian hates Levy.
Ooh,
Vivian
get her in.
wants, but obviously can't get him out. As for his son, his son and Uncle Joe don't talk. He's in Argentina. Just check out Patagonia and all that nonsense. Hopefully, the power struggle comes along, and there is a way to get them out. But the thing is, someone's going to have to drop a lot of money on the table. And if, and I can't say if in big enough letters or stress that word, if big enough, Uncle Joe wants out and he starts causing a problem, then Daniel Levy has a problem because that is the majority owner or holding company of the football club. And it may take that to do it. But again, there's been many a time we've heard that Bahama Joe wants out, that Bahama Joe doesn't care. Like I said, he turns 88 next month. He's lucky he's not doing the rest of his time under house arrest or whatever it may be. The guy's worth $6.3 billion American. What's he want with the money? His family is set for life. His family don't need to do another thing for the rest of their life.
And his families.
Yeah. So all we can hope is because, like I said, it doesn't matter how many times you say he's not leaving or someone comes up to me or anyone. I've seen Scott Ebbs in the chat, Lord Rodney Trotz. There are, 64 people in here. And I would say predominantly you attract the Levy out crowd, an Enoch out crowd. Like Tottenham Away do, like we do, like other channels do. What you have to remember as well when you look at things is, and I will give myself and Stel credit for this, and Alex, who's been on YouTube longer than myself, I saw Alex. Alex has been doing it a little bit longer than myself. Before people like me and Stel started coming on We Are Tottenham TV and setting up our own channels, whatever, Levy out was barely spoken. Daniel Levy was barely spoken. It was like, do you reckon Levy will have a good window? Yeah, no, maybe. Passing comment. Now, whether it's channels that are staunch Levy out like mine, yours, Stel's, and Iggy's, and all the guys at Tottenham Away, Mr. Box, and other it's now not just a talking point, it is the red hot topic and is discussed, not now just here. When I went to the protest at the training grounds, got ridiculed on social media, but it got the media attention, got the BBC and Sky down there, got in the papers. I had my cousin message my mum saying, is Brian back in the country and is this him? And they're like, my mum couldn't realise how big this was getting. It's now worldwide a massive spoken thing. The more and more people are joining, the more and more traction it's getting, the more and more this continues, soon the pressure will get too much. And people that say, yeah, he's not going to leave, or do you know what? When they say it's better to have loved and lost than to have never loved or to have never loved at all. Well, for me, I will fight, as will others. I'd rather have fought and lost than have rather never have fought at all. And I will go down with the ship. I will go down non-stop. What's up, Dan, bro?
Big up,
and
Dan.
like I said, I will. And people may look at me and Stel and hate the way we've approached things in the past, hate the way we approach things now, hate that we constantly keep talking about this, hate that we keep calling it out, hate that we keep showing people that we said this years ago, why aren't you listening? But if it hadn't been for Stel and me, and maybe Daddy Kiriakou and others, I could list a load of people. Levy out was never spoken. People that wanted to discuss it didn't have a platform to go to. People that did discuss it on these platforms were told to shut up, blah, 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 blah. Well, because of people like myself, Stel, and others, and the protesters that have done it on the streets since before I started joining them on the streets, they all deserve the respect for the hard graft, for the abuse that we've had to take, whether it be verbal, whether it be face to face, whether it be across social media, whether it be across other platforms. We have stood up and taken our lumps. We have stood up and taken the abuse. We have stood up, and here we are. I look at it now. 3 years ago, this January, I was outside a training ground with Ryan Isaacs and Graham. 3 of us started that.
Yeah.
And look where we are 3 years later. We're even worse.
Well, all you can do is keep going, Brian, isn't it, at the end of the day? And it's down to everyone to get together. That's whether
Right.
on this side of it or not, or convincing people that are out, you know, Levy in, Ange in, whatever it is, to open their eyes a bit more to see what's really going on. Because I don't think a lot of, especially the younger fans, Brian, I don't think a lot of them really do understand what's going on at the moment, as far as regards to the top is, you know what I mean?
Well, Mark, you know what it is? Sorry, I'm taking over, but I will shut up and
It's
let
all right.
Dan.
No, you're fine, Brian. You're fine.
I look at it when we talk about things like that. The younger fans, all they've seen, and it depends how you want to say younger and what age demographic you're putting it in. They have only known Levy, and Levy has delivered Champions League football, whether it be Levy has delivered a stadium, Levy has delivered the training ground, and we live in a world of football now where that's deemed a success. You look at Arsenal fans under Wenger and Ferguson were United, and go back in the day with Liverpool of the 80s. Success, Chelsea, Man City, success is winning titles.
Yeah.
Success is the glory nights and open top bus parades and celebrating silverware at the end of the season. Not, well, hey, we got fourth. Well, hey, we can have 62. So the younger generation, although I will say there's someone very close to everyone at Tottenham on tour by the name of Matty Kushner, who's a 15-year-old kid who sees right through it. And there are other people of that age that do see it. But the modern day football, success is top 4. People see that new stadium, and like I said, I'll say nothing bad about that stadium, apart from what goes on inside. The actual building itself is absolutely exquisite. It really, really is. Especially, and Alex will know this, when I was going in the last season of the Lane, when you saw when they knocked the pad and they were building behind it, and you saw the difference in the heights, you were like, Jesus Christ. And then when I came back, the first time I came back to London, which was FA Cup final day when Harry and Meghan got married, it was the first time I saw it like completed outside. You're like, Jesus Christ, has a UFO just landed here? But
like
the younger fans,
like spaceship, Brian, when you turn up.
you look at it though, that we've got fans now that unfortunately have accepted it. A lot of the old school sugar lot, and a lot of the old school firm and the old school ones that will die on this hill and fight and protest, and they're grandkids, they're grandpas now. They live here, there, and everywhere. And this is before social media. With Alan Sugar, there are thousands on that high road. No way of communication apart from the good old house telephone. I can't remember if mobiles had broken onto the scene back then. It was so long ago. But thousands turned up. Thousands. But now social media, whereas it's good that we can communicate and do things like this, and it's brought people together. You've also got the bots, the trolls, the plants that go and try and put spatters in the works, and that's unfortunately where we are. So when it comes to that younger generation, Mark, my nephews will say Levy out whenever they see him. Whenever they see him, because they see what I do, and I'm starting to teach them this what's going on at this football club, and they see it as 12-year-old boys, as 12-year-old kids They see it.
Was
But
it Ben,
that's because they got me as an uncle and they don't really have a choice.
was it Ben that used to have the little clip and he used to play it on the coffee company with one of your nephews or your niece, like saying Levy out?
No, that was his nephew. That was his nephew. That was his nephew. That was Ben's nephew.
Oh, I thought it was one of yours.
That was Ben's nephew.
Ah.
Right, so I want to come in with another question if I can. Welcome, Dan.
Yeah.
Thanks for popping in, mate. Nice to see you.
Good evening, all.
You can take it as you want to in whichever order. Might be a bit of a silly question, really, but I want to know the answer to it if anyone's got it. And that is, why have the standards of one, our fans, and two, our football club in general, gone through the floor? Anyone can go.
Dan,
Well, I'll go. Well, but evening to Marks, Brian, Alex, and big up to everyone in the chat. I've just come back from Wagamama's, so yeah, raring to go. What have I missed tonight? What you covered? You covered the game on Thursday.
Yeah, we've just had a bit of general chit chat. Really, we spoke about Hoffenheim. We haven't got on to Leicester tomorrow yet.
Okay.
So yeah, we're about halfway, a bit more.
Well, this is the biggest problem, isn't it? Your question mark is the standards are on the floor. People just have given up, just expect failure. They just do. No one wants to do enough.
Can I just interrupt you for one moment? Because I'm just to read you a tweet that's just come out from Tom Horner. It's from the Spurs Express. Spurs saw bringing in a new forward this month as a priority, even before Solanke's injury. But their league's position and salary structure have made it difficult to attract the caliber of player they want.
Game-changing stadium.
Add to the fact that the injuries as well, the way that he runs the players to absolutely to the ground as well. You know what I mean? So add that to the fact as well. You know what I mean? You know, the fact that he does his good awful tactics every single time. Look at the players that we've got at the moment. I don't rate Kulu. Everyone knows I don't rate Kulu. He's been good. Good. Yeah, good. Not excellent. Good. And look at him right now. You know what I mean? So
no, it's listen. Well, this is you just start. Sorry, I'm going to say this and let Dan finish. You want to know why these kind of comments? Now it's our league position that is the issue, as well as our salaries. Well, we can spend over 400 million and not breach PSR. We choose not to, and our league position is failing to attract the caliber of play. Well, I'll tell you what, Daniel. How about you buy them before we get to this and stop us getting this low? I'll tell you what, Daniel. How did Alan Sugar bring back Jurgen Klinsmann when we're in a relegation struggle?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, Daniel. Honestly, you go on. The fans see this shit and accept it. Oh, yeah, Daniel's right. We are 15th in the league and we have to be in the top four to bring the big name players. But we get into the top four. We don't buy the big name players. Yeah. We don't pay the big name wages. These fans, and I said after the Leicester game tomorrow, and I've even broken my own promise that I'm going to start throwing chaos grenades. I've been at it all day today. This football club, let it burn to the ground. Let it rot. I would rather start an I'd rather with AFC Wimbledon when they move to Milton Keynes. Start Tottenham again. I swear to God, if a group of fans or people said, you know what, we're starting a new Tottenham that's run by the fans, I'll stop this because we're not a football team. I'll go support that team because we are a fucking disgrace. And people have allowed this to happen. And you reap what you sow, and now I'm going to shut up. I'm even going to mute myself because I'm about to go to Tourette's.
I was going to say, this was meant to be the new calm, Brian. It has been for ages.
He's all right. Give him a minute.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can understand why he's so frustrated, though, can't you?
Yeah. Yeah,
All of
yeah,
you.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I mean, Jesus, been on at this for 17 years, telling everyone what's coming. You know, and I know that like a lot of people are skeptical of when they hear stuff like this, but at the end of the day, the fella's been proved spot on right, hasn't he?
Yep.
All the way through.
Yep.
You know,
All the people on social media that call Brian, Alex, whoever else, Stell, all negative, toxic, insert words. They've had, Lord knows what they've been called. I don't see all of it. But the toxic, you know, not a Spurs fan. Why don't you get down the Emirates and all this? But they've been right all along.
Yeah.
They've been right all along. And big up to you, Alex, and Brian, and Stell,
big up
and
to all
Saba.
of you. Big
Yeah,
up to
and
all of you
Saba.
for putting it out there. And one thing we have got to do is, I mean, you know, Dan's channel, Nige, me and Mark, we're all relatively new channels. But we're going to push this through as hard as we can, Brian, to help you lot out.
Yeah.
We're going to be spitting facts about our football club, right? And people will have to, in the end, whether it's now, whether it's in 5 years' time, whenever it is, people will have to sit up and take notice because we're telling it as we see it, not how we feel it.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, yeah. It's only opinions. It's only opinions. But to be honest, you know, I mean, I've seen this club go down and down and down. That's even since Poch left. It's been a downward spiral. You know, like Conte sort of bit of an upward turn, but it soon goes down again. All this club now is basically a money club. I was going to say money laundering, but that's the wrong word because they don't do anything illegal. But that's all it's about now is the money. It's just about the money. Success on the pitch doesn't matter anymore. It really doesn't. Whereas other chairmen, yes, they want the money because all chairmen want the money, but they want the football club to be successful as well. With us, with all this other stuff that goes on there, NFL, well, I said it, NFL, boxing, rugby, Lord knows what goes on there. You know, it's not important anymore that the football side is successful. It's not because the other incomes are massive. Put it this way, I wouldn't be surprised when in the summer or next summer or whatever summer, WWE isn't in there. They have a big event like SummerSlam or, you know, one of those events because WWE is massive. It's worldwide. And I guarantee you, if that comes to London, they do a live event, it'll be in the Tottenham Stadium. Guaranteed. 1,000,000% that is. You know, because I said earlier on Savage Show, bloody Rolling Stones are going in there. There's rumours that Adele's going there. Eubank Jr.'s fighting there. There's a rugby game coming up soon. You know, the NFL will be back soon. It's off season. No, it's not. The NFL's still going on, but they'll be back when the season starts again. You know, we're not a football club anymore. It's an entertainment business that football breaks out now and again. And that's the state of the club.
Yeah,
and we're
but
never
Mark,
going to be. Yeah,
but Mark,
yes,
but where's the fans standing up for their club and doing something about it? Where are they? What are they doing? Why don't they care? Not
exactly, mate. If I lived closer, I'd be at every protest, every single one.
But this is the problem, isn't it? Unless enough fans do anything about it, it's just going to continue this cycle of failure for years. You know, I watched the video Stell did the other day. People can moan about it as much as they want, but do something about it. Yeah, he's right what he said. Stop moaning about it and do something. Protest, boycott, don't spend money on the club. A lot more people have to, and then not enough will. So the problem is we're stuck. We're stuck in this nightmare under Levy. Look at that summer transfer window. It's not serious. People pretending it was fine. Oh, young kids, Solanke. That was the warning signs there. Re-signing Werner. We all knew what was happening. Going to come this season, really. We didn't think it would be this bad. But blimey, it's a mess. And what guys, what do you think of Ange Postecoglou's comments about playing with fire? Have you discussed that tonight?
No,
not yet. I haven't
No.
seen any of that today, mate. I've been so busy, Dan. I haven't really looked at much stuff apart from popping on Savas an hour earlier.
Well,
For an hour earlier on. But tell us about it, mate.
Well, he came out. I think it was a press conference yesterday. I don't know if it was the bit what comes out a bit later, but he's warning the Spurs bosses to make signings. Now the club are clearly not backing Ange, are they? Yeah, they're not. That's what's happening, guys. Everybody feel that way. They're not. They don't trust him. Something is going on behind the scenes, I think, because this crazy. No signings in other than that goalie. Now there's something going on, I think. What's everyone's thoughts on that?
I think they're backing him because I think that if they were backing him,
how are they backing him, Alex? They ain't signed no one.
Well, it doesn't matter whether they've not signed him; they haven't sacked him. so I'm concerned. If you don't, like I say, he would have been out the door by now. I don't think they've got a replacement for him. That's the worry for me at the moment, is that I don't think they've got a replacement for him, even though they quoted. There was quotes that there was prospects of when Ange came in, because the thing is though, and this is where someone made a very good comment, and I don't know if I can say his name, but he made it quite. I think he's spot on. Ange is not a project manager, and this is where I'm just amazed. I'm amazed why we got him in the first place, because if he's not this project manager, right, he wants to win now. Why the hell we got him in the first place? You know what I mean? I just think we should have got somebody like a Pochettino, Eddie Howe. Someone, I mean, I know Eddie Howe was never available anyway, but someone like that, Areola. I need to do a little bit more research on him, I have to be honest. But, you know, a Marco Silva, you know what I mean? There are coaches out there that work with young players and you can grow. This guy has got not a clue. Because the way he's treated Jen Spence, and like I said before, Jen Spence is not playing well because of him. He ain't playing well because of him. And I don't care what people say to me. I don't care what people say to me. Because this guy, he's only doing it because to spite Ange. Simple as that. I'm sorry. I just don't see it for me.
Well, they haven't sacked him yet because they can't get anybody. That's another thing.
I think they can get
struggling.
somebody. I think they can get somebody down. I really do. I do think.
Would you come and be a manager at Spurs? I wouldn't.
Well,
look at the history of failure under every manager.
It's the money.
We destroy managers. Yeah, no player wants to come to play for Spurs. Clearly,
money talks. So money does talk.
We're 15th in the league, Mark. We're 15th in the league.
Yeah, I know, but even so,
I don't look. I'm sure some managers will come and that, but I just think no one wants to come. No manager, no players. That
Areola is on £1 million a year at Bournemouth. I mean, we could treble that. And sorry,
would he leave them now?
Well, if we offered him the same as Ange, $5 million a year, that's 5 times his wages. He'd be gone in a heartbeat. Any of us would. If you were doing the same job somewhere else and they offered you 5 times your salary, you'd be stupid not to turn it down. Only to be let down by Levy if he does come here, but you know what I mean.
Look, the whole thing's a mess. We're not going anywhere. What is going on? Yeah, no changing the manager, keeping a manager, not bringing in players. The whole thing's a sham. I'm sick of it. I'm absolutely sick of this club. Yeah, honestly, I've had enough of it. It really gets to me. Yeah, this season is just it's just shocking, isn't it? And we all don't know what's really going to happen, do we? We're all hoping that Ange kind of picks up the team, but who really truly believes that Ange is going to, even when we get players back, are we really going to? When are we getting our next win? Maybe tomorrow, but when is the next one after? You don't even believe tomorrow, Brian?
No,
you don't think we've got enough to beat?
Mate, we're coming back from Germany exhausted.
Yeah.
With even more injuries. Leicester have had a full week off. Jamie Vardy always scores against us. Has got pace. He's going to be playing against Ben Davies and Dragusin with no pace. And I'm just going to come back to you now with what you made of Ange's comments. When I saw that come out, I was like, well done, Ange. Only took you 25 days to step up to the party. Well done. Well done, yes. Choosing my words very carefully right now because I'm getting very, very frustrated. We went into this window, as always, as I tweeted yesterday, once upon a time, there was a transfer window. And Spurs fans all believed, and so did the manager, that they were going to get backed. And Ange Postecoglou even came out and said, yes, we're going to get backed and we're going to do it early. We bring in an outfield goalkeeper. An outfield goalkeeper, a goalkeeper, not an outfield player. Don't get me wrong, I think he's going to be a good signing. But he then said 2 weeks into the window, help for Solanke is on the way. His words, not mine. When asked, is that Richarlison coming back or an addition? His words were both. That person was Mawani. Mawani, who apparently had to go on an obligation, not an option, then goes to Juventus, not an obligation, not on an option. But guess what, people? Juventus agreed to pay every single penny of his wages. And what's Mawani gone and done today? Scored on his debut. But then we carry on. Don't worry, I'm very, very happy with the way the club are working behind the scenes. At least they're trying. They're working hard. Then this all comes out, and now on the 25th of the month, he goes, oh, we're playing with fire if we don't buy anyone. It's not like Spurs fans haven't seen this year in, year out, but on the 25th of the month, where Monday come, we have 1 week left of the window. That's when you want to put on the big boy pants. That's when you want to start saying things like Conte would, when it's too little too late, only to be told now that we are worried about being able to pay the wages when we can spend over £400 million. Because remember, we can't spend with FFP. We have to be above that. Because then once we're above that, we're at an advantage compared to all the other teams and we'll be able to capitalise. Did that. PSR comes in. Oh, no. What? Let's get ourselves sorted in PSR. And once we're aligned with PSR and FFP, that's when we start making the impact. That's when the changes start happening. We have 400 million. No team can rival us in the amount we can spend without breaching FFP. And we're now at a point where our league position and our wage structure is not allowing to get us the targets. And there will be idiots out there that go, yeah, do you know what? That's right. I mean, who wants to come to a team that's 15th? When we were told when we were 4th, we needed to be in the Champions League to get the big players. Didn't sign one of them. Not one. But people want to fall for this bullshit. And like you said, Dan, what do I think of Ange's comments? You're 22 days late. You're 22 days late. Your job is on the line. You've allowed slip into 15th through your training methods, through your injuries, through your inability. And don't get me wrong, the players, once again, we got rid of all the fucking bad eggs to bring in fucking prima donnas. Oh no, there's a fight. These team they're going to bully us. They're going to play hard. Fuck off. You pay monkeys, you pay peanuts, you get monkeys, and this football club is rotten to the core, and this fan base are just sitting there twiddling their thumbs, a majority of them, and allowing this to happen.
Listen, guys.
Well done, Levy. Well done. I'm ashamed to be. Do you know what? I'm ashamed to be a Spurs fan. Ashamed.
Yeah. Listen, guys. I don't want to take any of my frustrations out on you guys on the panel. It's just I just don't know what we're doing here. Yeah, we haven't sacked him. We're not backing him. We're not going to sign any top players. Who are we going to sign? Scraps left. Yeah. Who are we bringing in? Who was we linked to? Mr. Blobby, wasn't it, on Friday? What's his name? Bobby?
Ryan
Someone
Bobbery.
like that. Yeah, rubbish. Yeah, absolute rubbish. 1 goal in 17 matches this season. What are we bringing him in for? I hope that don't happen. I'm just so frustrated. Like, I just don't know what this club is doing. Yeah, we've got so many injuries. We've got such a lack of quality. We've got such a lack of experience. We just have no leaders, no men in this side. Yeah, what are the club doing in this window to bring into this team? I'm just at loss with it. And
Well, they're
and
not
it's
doing
so
nothing, Dan, are
frustrating.
they? Because they've saved
What-
50 million. He saved 50 million quid on the wage bill or whatever it is by cutting the wage bill. So why is he even going to go and spend £1 if he don't have to?
So why ain't everybody doing anything about it? Isn't there a protest tomorrow? I heard. I don't know if it's going ahead or not. It's very quiet. I'm sure Brian will fill us in, but everybody needs to be there. Well, as many as possible. But they won't be there, will they, Brian? Everyone else, Mark and Alex, they won't. They won't be there. There'll probably be maybe another 300, 150, 200. That just shows the fans they've either just given up. I don't understand it. I've had enough of it. I've been a Spurs supporter, all my life, and I've had enough. I've had enough of this where it's been going for all these years. 1 trophy in 24 years, failure after year after year after year. Where are our standards? We got this massive stadium. We spent all the money, spent the money to build it, and we've just been lied to. We're not paying the wages. We're not signing top players. What are we doing? Nothing. And
Game-changing stadium, by the way. Game-changing
Well, it's
stadium.
not a game-changing stadium.
Well, it's not, is it? It's not.
No.
This is
No,
what,
it is.
It is for Levy's pocket.
No,
yeah.
it
Fans,
is.
not for
It's
the
very
fans.
big game changing. There used to be football played there. There's now rugby, NFL, boxing, concerts.
Yeah.
It's changed the game.
Yeah. But not for the football.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
Before I get on to the last question, Brian, I'm going to got one more question for you just about the Leicester. But I just want to make sure that everyone is subscribing to everyone on the channel. So if everyone can subscribe to Alex, everyone to Brian over at Tottenham on Tour, and to Dan the Danalist, make sure you get over to sub to them, because there's going to be great content coming out in the future and you all need to watch it. So,
I've messed up, mate. I haven't put the links in the chat, have I?
Well, you get round to it. But yeah, and make
I
sure
will
also
do it now,
to sub
mate.
to us and like the stream. We're
Our channel's pinned
up
to
and
the top,
coming,
mate.
brand new, and we're just trying to get out there as much as we can and put our point over.
Big up.
Excellent. So let's I'll let Mark sort that out. Let's
I can do that in the background.
Let's just go on to tomorrow. Thoughts about tomorrow. I don't know if any, because of the injuries, if the team can change at all tomorrow. I don't know if anyone can fill me in on that, because like I say, I haven't really had time to look up on much stuff today. But what's the thoughts about Leicester tomorrow? Are we hopeful? Is it a draw? Is it, like Brian said, we're all knackered and it's going to be what it's going to be? Thoughts from
it's a must win tomorrow for me. If we don't win tomorrow, sack Ange. Sack him. Yeah. We have to beat Leicester. It'll be much of the same sort of team. It was a player who was it Spence, doubtful, isn't he? Yeah, I don't think he's going to make it, but it's going to be much of the same. But I don't care. We got to beat Leicester tomorrow. Can't lose. We can't. It's not. If that happens, I don't know what else to say. Out of all the teams in the Premier League, other than Southampton, Leicester, we must beat them. And if we don't, God knows what's going to happen.
Brian?
No, I'm going to say something that I've said. Still put it on his community page. I did a massive rant. I can't remember what game it was after. And I'm going to stick to my guns as I have. I don't care what team play tomorrow. I don't care what the result is tomorrow. I don't care who is sitting in that manager's seat. I don't care who is on the subs bench. I don't care who is sitting in the director of football. I don't care who is whatever Scott Munn's fucking role is called. The only thing I care about is making Daniel Philip Levy's life as miserable and as unbearable as possible, football related, not personal, football related. Because until such time, everything you see right now gets repeated. No matter who's in charge, new manager bounce. I will set a clock the second the new manager comes in for 18 months, and before that clock strikes 0, we're right back here. Doesn't matter what players cut. It does not matter. All I care about with this football club, business now, is getting this bastard out of the football club so I can breathe, so new life can be breathed into this football club. Do you know what this reminds me of? What we need right now? Do you remember? I mean, it's going to sound stupid where I'm going. Do you remember the original Disney movie and the cartoon, the original The Lion King, where everything in the jungle is dying because Scar's in charge, and then Simba comes back, beats him, and then everything turns green again?
Yeah.
Well, that is exactly what is happening at Tottenham Hotspur. Scar is in charge until Simba comes and takes him over. The fans will be ripped off and lied to. The manager won't be back. The players won't be good enough. The director of football won't be listened to. We'll get out the good ones and bring in shitter ones that can bring in shittier players. The business director will carry on making money. Donna Cullen will keep lapping it up. Daniel Levy will just sit there laughing at you all. Love me, hate me, like me, joking with me. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. Nothing changes until everything changes. Do I care if we lose tomorrow? Not one fucking bit. Do I care if we win tomorrow? Not one fucking bit. Do I care if we bring anyone in? Not one fucking bit. Because it always comes back to the same bloody thing. And until this disease is cut out of this football club, business club, there is no football club to talk about. So, what do I think about Leicester, Mark? I couldn't give a fuck. Will I go to the yard and enjoy being with people and watching the game? The people, yes. The game, no. But Tottenham is a huge part of my life. It's a chore now and a habit. I don't wait. When was the last time anyone woke up and thought, yes, it's game day. I can't wait to watch Spurs. I can't wait to get to the ground. I'm so pumped.
Pochettino days, Brian, for me.
Pochettino, or when we beat the Phil 3-0 with Conte.
Yeah.
That's it.
But that's only after the game. That was only after the game, then.
There is no business club. Remember, we're not fans anymore. We're not called supporters. Customers. We're not even called customers. We are now clients.
Clients. Sorry,
we're now called clients. Fuck Daniel Levy and fuck Tottenham Hotspur, because there is no Tottenham Hotspur until this wanker is gone. And you may think I'm being harsh now, people in the chat. I couldn't care. There is no football club to talk of. Honestly, we should. I might change our channel name to Business on Tour. We might change it to Bot Business on Tour. I'll speak to the guys because there is no football club.
Oh dear, it's a sad state of affairs when a supporter that's been around as long as you, Brian, is talking like that, mate. But like I said earlier, I can see where you're coming from when you've put so much into it. Alex, just a quick one from you, mate. Thoughts about tomorrow's game?
I think we should win. We need to win tomorrow. I think for me, there's no excuses anymore, and I don't care whether it's hired or not. We should know. I know that sounds very, very harsh in some way, but we should have been prepared for this. You know what I mean? And and I don't like this whole rhetoric about saying, well, they haven't got that much time to train. Oh, that's really bad. Well, we knew exactly what we were going to get ourselves into. I mean, you've got experienced players there that have been used to it. I can't really have a go at people like, the likes of Archie Gray or Burval, because they're not used to that sort of thing. Spence maybe as well. I'm not used to it, but some of those are seasoned professionals. Some of them are internationals. So yeah, the score's short, but again, I can't feel sorry for them because we put it on ourselves. Like at the start of the season, when we were not managing the squad adequately, we didn't get experienced players, which we do need experienced players in that team. And I don't think we're going to get it in the summer, because in January window, because I don't think they want to get their hamstrings. Well, I don't think I can say that. Sorry, so I won't say that. But you know, they don't like the fact that you know, the way that we're playing, it could exhaust them as what some of the players at the moment are doing. But on the subject of Leicester, we have to win the game. We've got to grind out results. If we're so-called grinded out the result against Hoffenheim, we have to have the same attitude, because we didn't see any grinding out result against Everton. And if we don't do that, you know, it would be very, very worrying. But I expect us to win the game tomorrow. I expect us to win the game tomorrow, because I think Leicester City might have chances, but if they, I think they'll miss the chances. I think that will give us a chance to score goals, because we do score goals, even though it has gone dry a little bit recently because of our defence. So, but I expect us to. So I think maybe it might be like a 2-1, possibly, because we always let in the goal, don't we? So, I think we'll squeeze past them, hopefully. And then we move on to Brentford. We'll move on to the European game and then Brentford. But we're going to have to start getting results quickly. I think we're very, very lucky, like Brian says, that Wolves, Southampton are gone, in my opinion. I mean, if Leicester City win, it's going to really be squeaky bum time. And then you got Wolves and then Ipswich, who have just gone through a bit of bad spell at the moment. We're lucky that they're not picking up points. We're very, very lucky. It is really embarrassing at the moment, because I didn't think we could get this low, as far as I'm concerned. It is what it is.
And I'm sick of the excuse. You know, it's injuries. The fans are saying it. The manager's saying it. I'm sick of hearing it. You know, I don't want to hear that anymore. Just get the result. Get the points. I'll tell you what. If we don't get the points, we'll be dragged into that relegation battle if we're not careful. Teams do get relegated. You know, Aston Villa, Newcastle, big teams have gone down before. But then I get what Brian's saying. Burn the whole thing down. You know, maybe it would do us a world of good getting relegated. Wake the club up. Wake the fan base up. And I get that as well.
A thing that worries me, like I said, and I think I've said this before on other channels, I'm worried that Ange doesn't even realise that we're in the relegation. I don't think he actually realises how bad this is.
So can I just say as well, because Robert Wilson's just sparked something in me as well, because when he says he's old enough to remember wanting sugar out, you look at what Tom Warner's just said in that tweet. I just said that we are low in the league and our wage structure. Love or hate Alan Sugar, that man, who is a Spurs fan, diehard Spurs fan, managed to sign Jurgen Klinsmann. And not only did he sign Jurgen Klinsmann, he brought Jurgen Klinsmann to Tottenham Hotspur when he was at the peak of his powers.
Yeah, peak of his powers.
One of the best three strikers in world football, if not top two with Romario from Brazil at that time, in the world. But he signed him at the point we had a 12-point deduction. We were banned from the FA Cup and not a hope in hell of getting European football. And he signed one of the greatest strikers in the world at that time, and one of the most lethal strikers you could wish to see, with a 12-point deduction, and brought him back again to avoid a relegation struggle. And now we're the 8th richest club in the world, whatever it is, whatever number we are in that financial fucking give a fuck. And we can't buy players because of the wages. This is how Tottenham Hotspur have sunk. Back then it was £2 million for Klinsmann. Yes, it's a different world transfer-wise and fee-wise. But how could Alan Sugar attract people at the peak of their powers, knowing that you're not going to qualify for Europe, knowing at the time you're not going to be in the most watched domestic cup competition in the world, and with 12 points deducted, come and play for us. Yeah, okay, I'll come. I want to see England, but right now we can't for this football, this business. The excuses that Robert, thanks for reminding me of that, brother. And Robert can remember it. People want to go on about there's stupid people that want to go. Do you want to remember what it was back in the 90s? Do you want to go back there, mid-table obscurity in a cup run? Hello, it's 2025 and we're in the 90s.
Yeah.
But we can't, because this fan base don't even know what they're saying. They don't even realise what they're saying anymore.
Yeah.
Just haven't moved on at all, have we, Brian?
No.
Just not moved on at all.
It's gone, I was just about to say it's gone backwards, if anything.
Yeah.
To be honest. Now, put it this way, I'm at that stage now that if I had something to do tomorrow, I wouldn't even bother watching. You know, well, it's not on Sky anyway, I don't think, in this country.
It's not.
You lucky bastards.
And so I'm going to have to find some other way to watch it. Hopefully Roadman's better and he can, like, throw me a link. But, like, you know, I mean, even if I don't get a link, am I bothered? No. I remember, you go back, especially when, I know I keep going harping on about Pochettino, but when Pochettino was here, if I had stuff to do, I'd rearrange it so I could make sure I was sat down in front of the TV or over the pub to watch the game. There's no way I'd miss a game. Now I'm not bothered anymore. You know, I've said this story on it once already. My grandson was 1 year old a few weeks ago. I didn't buy him a Tottenham kit. I desperately wanted to, but I thought, I can't punish the poor boy. Like for 80 plus, however long he's going to live, 80, 90 years of misery. You know, I can't do it. And so he lives in Plymouth. And I know this is a bad example, but I bought him a Plymouth kit. All right, they might get relegated this year. But guaranteed they'll win League One and the year after. Well, not guaranteed, but hopefully they will. You know, I just cannot force that upon the misery. I mean, I'm old enough, well, me and Mark are both old enough that we saw us get relegated.
Yeah,
I remember 77, mate. I don't remember it well, but I saw us get relegated. You know, and we had, but then as soon as we came back up the year after, Ozzy and Ricky turned up. And Keith Birkinshaw, all right, Keith Birkinshaw was in when we got relegated, but Keith Birkinshaw led us to 81, 82, and 84. You know, I mean, now, what do you see round the corner? We might finish 5th or 6th and get through a few rounds of the cup. I can't see us winning a cup. I don't even know. I don't even know the next time we're going to win a cup. Will we win one this year? Maybe. But you know, the odds are highly stacked against us, especially when we got to go to Liverpool with a 1-0 lead. You know, it's dreadful. And I've never felt this way about the club. I'm always excited to watch us. Now I can't be bothered.
Yeah. Well, just from our two Pennisworth, I'm not going to rant on because a lot of people know what my feelings are. But I want the standards to rise. On, off the pitch, the fans, everything. Our team, our football club is in the gutter. And the sooner that people wake up and smell the coffee and listen to people about what's going on, at least listen to their opinion on it. Don't just, it's not like that. We're telling you, this bloke here at the bottom, in the bottom right-hand corner of your screen, he's been at it for years and years and years. He knows exactly what Mr. Levy is and what he does. And we're all finding that out now, but it's a slow process for the, don't know if I'm allowed to say this, but for the thick ones to grasp it. It's as simple as that. You know, so until people start listening and taking things on board, We're only going one way, and that's that way. Don't ever anyone expect it to be going back that way. You might get a slight increase if the manager changes and they bring someone in that's got a bit of tactics about them, a bit of nous about them. Yeah, you might get back up the league a little bit, 10th, 9th, 8th, wherever. But trust me, with this geezer in charge, we are winning. And I don't swear very much, but fuck all. And the sooner people realise it, the better. Sorry to, I have to do this once a stream just so it gets out there to people, because I just feel sometimes the message is getting across slowly, but there's still not enough people listening. And I need these people, we all need these people to listen.
It's all, Mark, I will say it's all well and good listening. There, see this man right here.
Yeah.
Who has stood, I have had the honour of standing next to. He's been at it a lot longer than me because obviously he's been home and whatever, but he has been going since the 60s. He has seen the greats. He has seen the glory nights. He has been with myself, or I have been with him outside a training ground at 6 a.m. I can list the things that this man has done and said. And you know what? It's not. It comes down to it's not a case of just listening anymore. Listening does nothing. I am currently working on something with a few people right now to get the international fan base involved in this, because I know many people around the world. So if any of you are listening, Psycho Teacher I know is obviously in Brazil, and I know there's a few. Scott M I know is in this great country with me. I am working on something social media wise to start with to get these fans included, because so many people reach out to me or are in the Levy Out chats, and when I mean Levy Out chats, I mean on channels going, what can I do as an international fan? I want to help, I want to be part of this, but I can't get to grounds, I can't get to protest. What can I do? Well, something's coming your way, and it's going to start on social media. There's going to be a prolonged thing that I'm working on right now and trying to get out within the next 2 to 3 weeks, that I'm going to put out on my Twitter and just ask every single international fan, when Spurs bring out that, where are you watching this game around the world from? To try and show the world how big they are with this worldwide fan base. That the worldwide fan base that can't stand the man and what he's doing to this club can literally bombard that tweet with the very same thing. I am reaching out to fan clubs, official supporters clubs around the world. There's other things I'm doing. So the international fan base, who I think have a massive part to play in this, but have been overlooked because of the geography and not being able to get to games. Well, hold tight, international fan base, because your desire to help but haven't been able to for geographical reasons, that's about to change. I'm not leaving any stone unturned, not a single one of them. And I'm going to get you heavily involved in this, because enough is enough. So if you follow me on social media, if you don't just follow me, it's Brydaigle on absolutely everything, apart from my Facebook, which is my full name. Message me, whatever, and I'll get you involved, because enough is enough now. Enough is enough. The international fan base has been overlooked and been called the tourist and international day trippers, whatever, when I know for a fact a lot of them will do more than a lot of the match day going fans. So it's time to tip the scales in favour of them and start doing something, because enough is enough.
Well said, Brian. Well said.
Yeah.
And good.
Thank you for everything you do, Brian.
Yeah. And we'll all be here, Brian. If you need any of us, I'm sure that if any of us can help in any way, you know that we're there.
You always do.
We're there.
You always do.
Just one more thing, really. Has anyone got anything to say, anything more to say about our wonderful Spurs this evening? Let's all try and give everyone a little platform there if they've got anything else to say. But we might have covered it all tonight. To be honest with you. Yeah. So I think we're about all done then.
Right now, we'll let Brian take us. Well, no. Should we do our outro and then let Brian let Brian. And then I might, seeing as not a lot of the audience have seen the intro, I might play the intro again.
That's up to you, mate. I'll leave that to you. You're in charge of all that.
Well, yeah, but right now, are we going to do our outro?
Let's see if we can get it before we go, please make sure to subscribe to everyone.
Yes.
If you don't mind, everyone, get on everyone's channels. The more you're out there, the better it is for all of us. So, and thanks for being here tonight. Thanks for watching.
Yeah, right. Now, are you ready, Matt?
On that note, it's a good night from me.
And it's a good night from him. And take it away, Brian.
What about Mr. Box Office? He's got his catchphrase. I don't know if Dan's got one as well.
All right. Well, we've done our bit and we got it right for a change. I actually pointed the right way. Yeah. Right now, Mr. Box Office, final words.
I haven't got that many final words. Thank you for inviting me, and take it away, Brian. Take it away, Brian. Thank you, and good to be on the stream with you, Dan, as well. And thank you for inviting me, both Marks. You've been gents. Thank you very much. And
no worries.
Take it away, Brian.
Dan, I know you're the relatively new kid on the block. Have you got your catchphrase yet, or is it still a work in progress?
No catchphrase yet, man. Just just talking Spurs. Yeah, it's just hard work, isn't it?
We're getting a catchphrase, don't you worry.
Do you know what? Everybody coming on YouTube, all of us here, all the other YouTubers, man, it's not easy coming on when this is going on right now. But we won't stop. We're not going to give up. We're not going away. So we'll keep coming and we'll keep discussing it, even when times are this bad. Obviously, they've been bad for years, but still, we're 15th in the league, guys, and we're not going anywhere. So big up to everybody. Two Marks, thanks for having me on. Big up, Alex.
No worries, brother.
Big up, Brian. And big up to everyone in the chat. And it's a great stream.
So here we go. Everyone in the chat, have a great rest of your Saturday evening or afternoon, whatever time it is, wherever you are in the world. Enjoy tomorrow, apart from the 90 minutes of football that will fuck you all off, because this is what this football business club does. Like, comment, subscribe to all these guys. And as always, Levy out.
The Two-Mark Show. Don't need a dressing gown. The Two-Mark Show. You can put your run sheet down.